Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day?
Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is September 20th, 2025. And this is just a quick weekend update. Nothing has changed. Bitcoin is still very much targeting the 120K region, and altcoins are still very much extremely bullish, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them are on the brink of putting in the first big move of alt season 2025. So guys, if that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get into it. Look, the hardest thing, in my estimation, about technical analysis and trading is not necessarily eyeing a setup, not necessarily, I would say, predicting levels, because a lot of that is quite simple, straightforward, right? If you, for instance, have this right here, 50-day resistance, you know that it's going to serve as resistance. It's likely going to reject the price. If you have this right here, this ascending broadening wedge, for instance, right? It's 19-day pattern. It's likely, when price hits it, going to find support on it. That stuff is really, really simple. Okay? The tough part is about waiting for a setup. It's about being able to trade a setup, because you can't time these things. A lot of things, I'd say most of setups done in technical analysis it's not possible to time. And why is it not possible to time? I don't care what Fibonacci time projections you use. It's because most of technical analysis, most of price action is corrective. And when you're dealing with corrective price action, one of the definitions of corrective price action is that it's inherently random. Maybe we use random as a catch-all for things that we don't understand. So let me put that to the side. It's from what we know now, corrective price action is mostly random, or so fungible, so unpredictable, that we might as well just classify it as being random. All right, and that goes about along with, the timing and all that stuff. Just let me give a quick example using Bitcoin. Okay, so we were saying that Bitcoin was likely in a leading diagonal. It's a type of Elliott wave impulse that starts off with concerted waves 1 through 4, and then wave 5 is an extension. Okay, and so here it's likely going to be what we're getting. Okay, and a lot of things are telling us that 119, 120K, that area, by the way, I was telling you 119, 119, it changed to 120 based off of the most recent price action, but it's the same target, right? And it's always been the same target because we've had this inverse head and shoulders, bullish reversal pattern. The height of this is the projection. That's how you get targets for inverse head and shoulders, right? You take the height of the pattern, superimpose it from the site of breakout, you get 120. Another way to get it, you can calculate this you can calculate this leading diagonal, take waves 1 through 4 retracement, waves 1 through 3 retracement of wave 4, project the 1618. You should get around 120. Another way to project it would just be by doing simple support and resistance. You can see that this right here is going to be resistance due to the 50-day midline of this, blue channel that price was in for 50 some odd days. And then this right here, which is the midline of this ascending broadening wedge, the confluence of both of these levels is going to be massive resistance. So whatever your move, whatever you think this is, it's going to meet extremely staunch resistance at this level, which is 119, 120K. So many ways. That is the easy part. The hard part is now looking at this, which is likely a wave 4 complex flat correction, and just look up wave 4 complex flat correction, or just complex flat correction, right? Typically you have what's called a WXY or a WXYXZ. Okay, it's basically just a bunch of this stuff, and it's in flavors of 3, but flavors of 3 doesn't mean 3 very clean and clear, easy to read waves. It can mean 19 of those, but then you break it down in 3. So let's go on the hourly time frame and see. This is what is difficult. Exactly predicting how price is going to consolidate in this region of space. Not necessarily being able to predict or understand that whenever price hits support, it's going to bounce. Whenever it hits resistance, it's going to bounce. But looking at price as it's been, right? Bitcoin has been in this purported complex flat correction for about 9 days. And for me, this is something like this, a WXY. Okay, it's a complex flat correction. Again, I'm gonna put it in properly, but that is the tough part. That not only telling exactly how this complex flat correction is going to manifest, but then timing it. These wave 4 complex flat corrections, they take as long as they want to, but they're typically, I'll say this, they're typically constrained by the support and resistances that they're dealing with. So this can take its time only as much as this allows, because this is support. It can't keep going past support. Does that make sense? So within, there are ways to time it, but there are also ways not to time it, because you could have said, oh, it hit support here, so it should have left. Yeah, it could have, but it didn't. It came and hit support once more here. Do you see? And that is all within the realm of possibility when you're looking at corrective price action. And this is corrective price action in the context of an impulse. This is the difficulty in technical analysis. This is what makes people mad. Not being able to exactly know when things are going to happen and the randomness of it all. But within all of that, what I'm pleading, exhorting you to do is look at the larger scope. The larger scope of analysis has always been Bitcoin's heading to 120-ish, 119, 120. When it hits that, you're going to get a rejection. That hasn't changed. The other element of that analysis has been altcoins in Bitcoin doing this and whatever subsequent retracements and corrections. Altcoins are going to decouple from Bitcoin in the largest, in the first large move of alt season. That's always been the analysis. Hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. It's just been, punctuated or sort of, I guess, sandwiched between a bunch of sideways, what the hell is going on? I'm so bored. This is what's happening. Sleepy price action. You'll see the character of the market change drastically, especially in the altcoins, once that first big move happens. And that's like taking the lid off. And once you take the lid off, there's no putting it back on. That's the good news. That's a really good news, because our market has been sleepy and sideways and uninspiring for far too long. That being said, let's close out the Bitcoin analysis by just looking at this liquidation heat map. Again, go ahead and look this up on your own. It's on CoinGlass. It's for free. I prefer the model number 2 for liquidation heat map rather. And you can see here we're looking at a super chart. So basically, all the major exchanges, the Binances, the Bybits, and the Coinbases of the world, all of their data is input into this chart. Okay, so this is why it's a super chart. And why we're looking, what are these, like, bright yellow green levels? They're essentially pools of liquidity. Price loves liquidity. It's drawn to liquidity. That's where it's likely to go. So right now you can see we're in a sleepy zone. It's pretty much no liquidity where we're at. So what's likely to happen is price is going to jump to the next likely level of liquidity, which the closest one is clearly 120K. Again, it's right there in front of you. Just look at it, right? Forget all the analysis of, the Elliott wave analysis, the support and resistance analysis. This is on-chain stuff. This is, money talks. 120K is where the money is, and that's where price is likely to go. Again, price is attracted to itself, and I don't know why. It just is. It has nothing to do with a market maker per se. It has nothing to do with some nefarious agenda by, the powers that be. It's just how things work. And so price is going to go there, and once it hits and feeds off of that liquidity at 120K, question is where to next. I talked about this before. It's not jumping the creek and, breaching this delta here, because you see at around 130K or below 130K, there's a lot of nothing. It's likely going to go a little lower where there's more liquidity right here. Okay, so that it's just on the super charts. Now, we talked about altcoins. We talked about a big move in altcoins likely to take the lid off of that market, because that market has been super sleepy. And I don't know if you recall, but last episode I said there was a possibility that, or a probability, a strong probability, because everything's possible, not everything's probable, that we would get this move right here. And the reason I said that is because, look, you came down, you tested this support level, which is a 500-day level of support. You tested it, you went up, and I said, okay, even if we do this, you're still looking for that. Okay, this is common. This is very commonplace. Again, corrective moves typically happen in flavors of 3. You can see the flavor of 3 right here. That's a running flat correction, as we call it in Elliott wave analysis. This is likely what you got. Boom, boom, boom. And then you go. Okay, and this chart that we're looking at right here is the others chart. Remember what the others chart is. It is a combination of all the altcoins in cryptocurrency minus the top 10 in market cap. I think this is the most accurate measure of altcoins right now, and it's extremely bullish. And what you're going to see in the immediate short term is a quick move right here in the aggregate of about 20%, meaning some altcoins are going to move 30%, others are going to move 15 or 10%, but that's what you're looking at. Just off the rip, boom, 20%. That's according to this chart. And that move down here, I know it was difficult. It was like 24 straight hours of down, but it was very, choppy, slow, steady retracement. It wasn't like a hard, like, oh, I'm losing levels. Structurally, nothing's changed. It's actually extremely bullish because it's right back to support and then consolidation on support. So do expect that in the immediate short term. Last but not least, let's look at the others dominance chart, right? And this is basically telling us exactly what I said. Do expect, look at your watch lists, by the way. Look at your watch lists. Before looking at the others dominance chart, understand what you're looking at. You're basically saying that in the immediate short term, based off of that chart, what you should expect is altcoins to beat out Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's up nothing for the day, and you can see green in the watch list. You can see that there are other assets, right, altcoins, that are up, multiple times, not significantly up, but up, granted, against Bitcoin. Do you expect that to continue? It's not a Bitcoin market anymore where Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down even more, altcoins go, or Bitcoin goes up and nothing moves. No, now that dynamic is changed, and you're going to see that very much so in this first move. So finally, this others dominance chart just shows you all of that. On the 4-hourly time frame, you can see what I said last video. It's still the same. You've been in massive consolidation. Notice the roundedness of this bottom. Rounded features typically denote an extremity, a bottom or a top. And it's nice V-shaped, right? Those are the patterns you typically tend to see. Do expect this to break up and out. First level of resistance around 9.2% in others dominance, right? Because that is a move that's likely to yield a retracement back to previous resistance, right? This is a 200 and some odd day, 250 day resistance, something like that, 260 day resistance, I forget. Ever since February of this year, this has been resistance. Now Bitcoin, others dominance, once it breaks this, then it's official. That's the first big move of altcoins against Bitcoin. You're seeing it right here, right then. So when I say it's imminent, it's not just the feeling I get. I'm looking at it right here, right now. And you should expect to see it in your portfolios, in your watch lists, in your wallets. Guys, that's it for me. Take care. Hope this was helpful, useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you got value. Consider joining my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, where you can trade directly with me and choose up to 5 altcoins, which I help you choose. Altcoins that are likely to yield sustained gains in this bull run. Not every altcoin is on support. Not every altcoin is bullish right now. I keep saying that, keep repeating that. When I say altcoins, it doesn't mean every altcoin. It's up to you to determine which altcoins are going to make these moves. All right. So that is, what we do in crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, in addition to, finding high probability resistance and support levels so you can snowball profits. Extremely important. There are levels that are obvious where you're going to reach resistance. So, if you sell, and then you wait until high probability support, buy back. For instance, let's say this were an asset. It's an indicator, but let's just say, for instance, once you go up here, you don't just continue and go and you do the breakout. No, we know trading 101, every single time you break significant resistance, and yes, this is indeed significant resistance because you're dealing with 230 days of resistance, do expect to retest broken resistance as support. So you would identify the wave, the contiguous wave that this is breaking from. It's probably down here, like I said. So once you get to this level right here, confluence with this level, price action is telling me that there's resistance here. This was previous support. This is where I would sell this asset if this were an actual asset, and then I would buy back here, rinse and repeat the length of the bull run. That's how you snowball profits, not by guessing random things, but high probability levels of resistance, high probability levels of support. It's fine to just buy and hold, and you can do that if you don't know any better. That's better than nothing. But what's the point of giving away, relinquishing 62% of your profits each and every time you get one of these very high probability rejection levels? It doesn't make any sense, right? Better to take profit, take 10% off the table, pay yourself, put 90% back in the market, wait until you get back on support, buy back, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So that's the crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service. You trade with me in that way. Now, the other way you can work with me is the single asset analysis service, where it's just my take on an indicator, on a market of any kind. It doesn't even have to be crypto, any asset. Just, pay through one of the 4 methods below. And then within 24 hours, you'll have the pre-recorded analysis in your mailbox, in your email. And then you can even follow up with 2-3 questions, whatever. So that is how you can work with me. Last but not least, BTCC, my exchange partner, is giving away 10% on every new deposit on the exchange. So if you deposit at least 500 USDT or the equivalent, make a single trade, either spot or leverage, wait 7 days, you should get your 10% cash back, no questions asked. Recently, one of you had an issue with this, contacted me, and my rep is on it and is going to get it sorted. Obviously, these systems aren't perfect. They're dealing with, machines and algorithms and stuff like that. So if there's any issue, you waited your 7 days, you didn't get your 10% cash back, just reach out to me, email me. I'm going to get it sorted and make sure that you get your 10% cash back. But the majority of you have gotten your 10% back. And I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's easy money. If you're going to deposit and they have the asset that you want to trade anyway, then, get 10% back on your deposit, right? The maximum rebate you can get off that is $10,000 for a $100,000 or equivalent deposit. Guys, that's it. Take care. Bye.
Prevalent time slot, I vocalize, too deep to localize, even when I'm right on the surface. You act surprised how I work this, but I can't lie. Many a good alibi, I'll catch you later.
Visions are vividly enhanced with emphasis and amethyst to develop morale advantages which help us manifest magnanimous. We body vitals like evangelists. So listen when you're dealing with people who be revealing premonitions with precision. At least that's what I'm aiming at for now. I speak the language of the world, meandering throughout the crowd. Used to feel safe to say anything, but now it's a risk. It's hard for me to let go when all I can do is reminisce. Gone like the wind, here's where I